Alright, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Yeah? Wide and awake?
Yep.
I'm still fighting jet lag from last week, but I've had a fantastic week here in Malaysia, working with our partners UBSM. They represent us here in the Malaysian market and also in some of the other Southeast Asian countries. So, as mentioned, my name is Ritchie. I am with a company called PressReader. I'm located in Vancouver, Canada, and PressReader is actually a very interesting company. Just so you do know, we work with about 4,000 publications, full content, newspapers and magazines, presented the same way that you would buy at the newsstand. Today, our goal is we're going to give you a little platform demonstration, and I'm also going to just share a few interesting statistics on the mobile usage in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. It's actually quite interesting. I was in Malaysia about a month ago as well, and I was doing some statistics and just viewing it, and what I was reading, it didn't make sense to me until I actually came to Malaysia, but just on the next slide. So we have our smartphone users. How many of you all have smartphones? Yes. Yeah, almost everybody. And how about your students? Majority of them, right? So right now there's, in 2006, there's 1.44 billion. In 2016, we're expecting 2.16 billion. Now, that's only like 1/3 of the world that's connected. Huge opportunities, whether it be for developers, mobile apps, learning apps. We were talking about the language learning, and just goes to show like there's a huge opportunity in mobile usage and platforms. Malaysia is one of the most interesting countries that I've been doing research on. It's one of 5 countries where mobile usage exceeds that of computer usage. Now this is actually very much of a growing trend. The US last year also had the same experience. More mobile users than PC users. And this is more in the, we're going to see this a lot more in developing markets. And we have mobile apps, of course. PressReader, which what I represent, is a mobile app. So it's available for all your students anywhere, anytime. But we're looking at the number of downloads. Anybody have an idea on how many downloads on average a person has?
50
per capita. Right now there's 2.5 billion mobile apps downloaded in 2009. 2017, there's going to be 269 billion apps downloaded. That's billion with a B. It's huge, right? The global average, 1.7 apps per capita. 6 apps per person in Indonesia. This is crazy high. Malaysia, about 2.7. Quite interesting. Now we look at the amount of time. How many of you have kids? Quite a few of you. Do you find that your kids spend a lot of time playing on the mobile tab? Yeah, quite a bit. So, the daily usage, Malaysia, one of the highest in Southeast Asia. An hour and 6 minutes on a daily basis using applications. Now, if we can find an interesting way to engage students, engage children, to use apps and use the tablet devices that they have for content that's engaging but educational, then I think we found a win-win. This is where things are going. Just even while we were at the Melted conference, as Keith was mentioning, the lady with ChemCaper, the chemical game, incredible. Just to see the different ways that you can use apps and games. This is how kids interact. This is what the generation is. So if we can reach them on those devices where they are, then I think we found a win-win. So I'm going to talk to you about PressReader. As I mentioned, PressReader is a full aggregated collection of more than 4,000 publications from 100 countries and 60 different languages. The company's been around since 1999. The content is premium content, so you're not looking at a lot of like free newspapers. How many of you subscribe to like British papers, American papers in print? Anybody? Not too many. Online as well, perhaps? Do you guys pay for those services, or you just go for the free websites? Free websites? Well, let me tell you, there's huge value in a full content newspaper. Why do we pay for newspapers? I think this is a fair question to ask. Newspapers and magazines, for example, publishers like The Guardian, The Washington Post, LA Times, Le Monde, Le Figaro, this goes on and on. These people, they make their living on making content that is based on fact and research. You may find if you go to like a Google News, a Yahoo News blog, maybe there's another service that you guys use in Malaysia, I'm not sure, but you may find that those links that you're getting, maybe they're taking you to people's personal blogs or opinion pieces, maybe to content that you don't want your students to see. Could be right-wing, could be left-wing. There's those types of newspapers as well. But the important thing is to make sure that the content that your students have is from trusted resources. And this is what you will find on PressReader. We have different facilities built in to make access and learning engaging, fun. So one of the things that what we do is language learning as well. I find more and more over the last few years, a lot of universities and institutes have been using PressReader as a language tool. Whether it be for English, Japanese, Spanish, German, Afrikaans, the list goes on. We cover 60 different languages. We have audio. So if you want to listen to a Spanish newspaper and read along with it, it's easy to do. Same with English. Fantastic tool for that. Commenting and conversation. So we have two different parts of commenting. Commenting, just as, this is too bad this happened, but then you can make an opinion as well. And you can actually create and teach students how to form their own opinions and watch that opinion trend, watch people follow that opinion. And I'll show you that in the platform. Another thing I want to mention is the availability on multiple devices. Not everybody, not every student has the budget to have a high-end iPhone or whatever kind of mobile device it might be. Maybe they're using, whichever kind of device. We need to make sure that the services and the products that we subscribe to, that we can support the device regardless of what kind of device they're using. Android, BlackBerry, Kindle, this goes on. PressReader does all that. We also have an online and an offline. So content that you subscribe to, make sure that you can use it really anywhere, anytime. So as I mentioned, PressReader is quite a very interesting company. Newspapers and magazines aren't just used in libraries. We have about 15,000 libraries around the world using the platform. We also work in hospitality. Maybe some of you have even seen PressReader before in some hotels that you may have stayed at, whether it be in a core property, Shangri-La's, Donald Trump's. Many of the luxury brands around the world are using PressReader. About 8,000 hotels right now. We work in transportation. Are you guys familiar with Uber? Uber taxi service. We just launched Uber in Cannes, France for the film festival a few weeks back. And last week we just launched with Qantas Airlines as well. So it's about making content available anywhere, anytime for people. We work in a lot of government industries as well, and we do have a consumer interface. So I'm going to actually take you now into PressReader.com. Okay, Alright, so this is PressReader.com. When you come onto the platform for the first time, actually what we do for your school, for your university, for your office, wherever you might be, is we create a hotspot. So you have the hotspot, you'll see the green teacup in the top left corner. You can go to the right hand side and you can create a free account, whether you want to use your Gmail, your Facebook, your Twitter. We always suggest to our faculty and also to students, everybody create their own free personal account, because this is where the magic happens on PressReader. It's a very interactive platform. There's a lot of social aspects to it as well. So when you come onto the platform, it's a collection of leading content on PressReader based on the amount of time, the amount of people who read the content. We are greeted in this home feed. It's very customizable. We can add specific countries. We can add specific sections of newspapers. So for example, I want to say, add section, my favorite section may be the province. This is my newspaper in Vancouver, Canada. And I like the entertainment section. Alright? And if there's a newspaper, even just say, for example, an educational section, you could even look at something, say, Washington Post. And we can go in, we can choose a section. If you're teaching economy and business, just add that in. And all you have to do is just click on that, and it'll take you right in to that section of that newspaper every single day. Quick access. Now just going back to the front page, you can also customize your news feed by the topics that you're interested in. So you can actually go to the top right corner, do a keyword search, for example, Malaysia education. This is actually going to search 4,000 publications. By default, it's searching the last 3 days. We can jump into the advanced search. Now we can change the date range, change the publications, specific countries, and you can choose different languages as well. Now I'm just going to go in here. I want to show you the value of an aggregated collection. It's probably overwhelming for some people to say, I have 4,000 publications. I don't need 4,000 publications. I want maybe Southeast Asia and Europe. I get that point. However, there's a huge value in having an aggregated collection. What I normally do with my customers who request a limited catalog is I'll say to them, just use it for 6 months. Before you start to use, write down the top 10 newspapers or magazines that you think will be the most popular. Because we like to believe that we understand exactly what our students will be using. But once they start using the content, you'll be surprised. You may probably have 2 or 3 of those titles correct out of the 10. It's very interesting to see. But yeah, from here you have Borneo Post, Sunday Times, Malaysia Reserve, Jakarta Post, and the list goes on and on. So this is the real true value of having a global outlook, especially if you're doing research and information. Perfect for current events. Now let's talk about the classroom. You know, if you're talking about digital literacy, a growing demand, here this article, Jakarta Post. What we have in a lot of schools is you may be doing something about current events, or if you want being a faculty member and you're teaching on a specific topic. What I can do, I can just take my finger or my mouse, just click, hold it down, and it gives me a menu. I can jump into the page view of this article. I can listen to the article, comment, and I can bookmark. I just want to jump into bookmarks first. Now, if I click on bookmark, I can actually put it into a collection. So, I'm going to put it in Classroom Inspiration. And I'm just going to close. Now, when you share an article, when you email, when you blog, bookmark, this all goes into what you call your channel. So I can go to the top right corner, click on my channel, and I can share my channel, just share my link with my classroom, and I can say, classroom, I want you to go and view the channel, read the content or the articles that are in Classroom Inspiration. So this is an option that you can start to get your students using the platform on a daily basis. I'm just going to jump into publications. Top left corner is your menu, and you can do a keyword search for publications, or you can just choose your favorite country. I'm going to jump into the UK, and you can see that there's a lot of popular content here. I'll pull up yesterday's edition of The Guardian. Most of the content will be same-day content, often before you can actually buy it in print. For example, if I was to go into France right now, I can tell you that I'll have Le Monde, Le Figaro. I'm very confident in that. Le Monde. We get that title about 11:30 p.m. the night before. Most titles come around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning before you can buy it in print. And this is because the other side of our business is we host and manage publishers' online editions for them. Now, I'm just going to pull up The Guardian. And this edition hasn't been updated from yesterday, but you can see here that this is the full digital replica. This is exactly the same newspaper that you're going to buy at the newsstand. You can click, single click to zoom in, navigate, but you probably have been noticing when I put my mouse on top of an article, it highlights in blue. If I click on the headline of an article, it takes it into a text view. When you're in a text view, you can actually take all the articles into text as well. This is what we call smart flow. So this is kind of the happy medium of having a text-based service, but also a replica image-based service. And you'll see that there's different sections, for example, the national section. If I click on this, it will add it to my home feed. Now, topics are a very interesting thing. We have a lot of commenting on PressReader, but there's a lot of people who are making opinions. Now, this is still in its infancy, the opinions, but we are working with a lot of different celebrities and politicians who will be using PressReader, especially on different global events. The big one right now is that we're just working on is one on the Iran nuclear deal. So we've actually done an interview, what we call spotlight video, with the one of the senators in Washington, D.C. But you can go by different regions, say for example Vancouver, and you'll be able to see what opinions and what issues that community may be facing. So for example, if I click in a little bit further into Vancouver, you'll see on the right hand side that the opinions will update. Now check this out. So in Vancouver, they're actually planning to implement a new tax, which will help pay for the transit system. So there's, most people are saying the government should dish up for it, but now they want to implement an extra 1.5% tax. I can click on this opinion, and I can see how this opinion has formulated, how it's trended, the supporters, opinion leaders. I can join the discussion, the debate. Furthermore, I can see all the articles and content related to this specific topic, and I can see also the comments. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I do want to take you into the PressReader application, because the PressReader app is where you're going to get a lot of your usage. I like the website, especially if I was using it for teaching, I'd probably use the website. If I use the website on my app or the PC, it's exactly the same thing, because it's an HTML5 interface. So it's intended for touchscreens for tablet devices. We do have a lot of institutes who do implement touchscreens in their schools. So we have our app, PressReader. It's a free application. And I should actually mention, you may have noticed on this coffee cup here, when the welcome message comes up, it will tell me how much time I have left. This is actually what we call a radiant access. So when we hook up your school, your university, your office, whatever it might be, all you have to do is send us your IP addresses. You can find your IP address by going whatismyip.com. That's all I need. Quite simple. So the radiant access by default for schools is 7 days. So this is kind of an off-site mechanism. All they have to do is open up the application or open up the website. They don't even have to sign in. We recommend they sign in, but they don't have to. We'll recognize their device ID, so when they go home, they go to the coffee shop. Even if a parent is picking up their child from school, just quickly connect to the Wi-Fi, open up the app for 10 seconds, and they're good to go. And I'm just going to close the welcome message here. We can go to select publications, but on the top left-hand side, you do have your home feed, and you have your profile as well. The home feed will link up exactly with the website. So whatever you do on the website will sync up with the app. So if you just want to browse content, it's really easy just to browse content and make the app crash. So go to home feed, you just click on the PressReader icon, and all your options will come up there. Just a moment. Does anybody read French by any chance? German, Spanish, anybody? No? I just want to show you something. I'm going to add country, and I'm going to add France onto the platform. Now this is pretty cool. So, say for example one of your students are taking a holiday in France, but they want to just know what's going on, what the headline stories are. You can actually see all this content in French, but you can go to the top right. You can translate. So just translate this into English. Now the translation from Latin-based languages are a lot better than the character-based, and it's a feature that we're always improving. It's also the most expensive part of our third-party integration into our platform. So Euro proposals and counter proposals. The Greece and its creditors have advanced their last battle to try to reach an agreement. The idea of the translation is to give you access to content that traditionally is not available to you, and it's especially powerful if you're doing a keyword search on a topic or global affair. It will come up right in the platform, and you can actually just do the translation really easy. Just going to quickly show you on the app how to download. You can go by categories. You can go by languages, and you can also go by publication types. Now we have two catalogs. We have a consumer catalog and a library catalog. Now the library catalog is filtered to an extent. So any more adult type of magazines, they would be restricted in the library catalog. But if there's additional content that needs to be restricted, you just send me a quick email, say, Mark, can you restrict this title or this magazine and newspaper? Very easy to do. So I'm just going to jump into Malaysia here, and I'm just going to download the Sun Malaysia. You can set up an auto delivery. PressReader is intended to be a daily used service. So if you're teaching current events, you want your students every day, choose a newspaper, choose a magazine, every morning pull up some current events, global, international. You have your back issues up top, so we give up to 3 months back issues. We are based on a current up-to-date platform. Sorry. Go back there. And what we want to do is we want to set up an auto delivery, so every single morning when the student will wake up, the content will already be downloaded to their device. And the downloading just takes like maybe a minute, maybe not even. You can see this internet connection here is quite fast. I've already downloaded some content. And I've downloaded the province. This is our Canadian newspaper. The browsing on the PressReader app is exactly the same as it is on the website. You'll also notice that the links on a lot of articles are highlighted. So phone numbers, for example, email addresses. So they're all really intended to interact with. And as I mentioned before, just click, hold your finger, you'll have the option. So for example, the sharing, Facebook, Twitter, email, Instapaper, Evernote. Now when you share an article, the receiver does not have to have a subscription. And also, when you share an article, it goes into your bookmarks, and those links don't expire. So 3 months, 5 years, 10 years down the road, you can still have access to that content. Last but not least, I just want to show you, you do have the option to copy and to print. You can print an article, you can also copy out the text, and it will have the citation information as well there. And then of course, I'm sure you're all wondering about the audio. Well, the audio is not too bad. The best audio is actually on the...
Witnesses are sought after fatal stabbing in Langley. Cassidy Olivia at theprovince.com, twitter.com/.
So that's just the... There you go.
Homicide investigators continued their search Tuesday for witnesses.
The best content is actually the British newspapers and the Australian newspapers. And they all have different accents as well. If you're teaching French, the French is also really, really good. The other thing is you can support or oppose. On the website it says bump it or dump it. So you can say this is a cool article, I don't like the context of this article, so you can oppose it. And then of course jump back into the text view or into the view. But just in short, if anybody is interested in a trial, contact UBSM, or you can also email me. My email is Mark with a K at PressReader.com. I would be happy to send you guys some information, set you up with a trial. If you guys are out for summer holidays, you just send us your email address. We'll give you full access for the summer until you get back to campus, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much for your time and your attention this morning. And I hope it's something that you'll find very interesting and something that can be used in your institutes or businesses and offices. Thank you.